The Internet of Things, the interconnectedness of modern society now is a wonderful thing in so many ways, but it also has laid us open to so much vulnerability. So yes, India has the potential to do this, of course, as does China. We do know China, and particularly Russia, are very active in cybercrime and cyber attacks, particularly against the United States at the moment. We see it all the time, we see it reported all the time. But India specifically, India has an enormously well-educated IT population. It has a very strong IT sector. There are a lot of people in India who are very literate at IT. They are very technically minded because, of course, the world has outsourced a lot of the IT production, manufacturing in a digital sense to India. So, of course, they have a very well-educated, very knowledgeable base of people who can easily be recruited by Hindutva, for example, as many have been, to go out and undertake nefarious operations against other nations, whether it's Canada, the US, or Europe. And clearly they are doing this. Interestingly, I mean, at the end of the day, we all do it. Let's be honest about this. The UK does it, the US does it, Canada does it. We all get up to clandestine activities, or at least our security services get up to this clandestinely across the internet. We all spy on each other physically and digitally. That goes on, we all know it. The question is when it crosses over into something beyond national interest, into something a little bit more dangerous, a little bit more criminal even. India has been accused on a regular basis of getting up to, certainly crossing the line, certainly, particularly when Hindutva are involved. And one of the key words I noticed there, India is justified in doing a lot of what it does because we do the same, as long as it doesn't actually damage or cross that line. We all abide by the rules. But India's definition, it uses it for counter-terrorism. And this is a word, a very provocative word that we often use. What do they class as terrorism? Well, terrorism, yeah, we all have a pretty clear definition, a pretty clear, I would say to some degree, black and white definition of what terrorism is. But India doesn't. India classes the Khalistan movement as terrorists. Now, in any democratic nation, the Khalistan movement is not a group of terrorists. It is not a terrorist organisation. It is a perfectly legitimate democratic movement with every right to demand sovereignty for Khalistan. Yet India sees it as a terrorist organisation, which it sees to justify its cyber attacks or justify its cyber activities, its illegal cyber activities across other nations, whether it's Canada, America, or Europe, or even Australia, etc. So that is where it comes down to definitions, and where those definitions are questionable. And that is where India, I think, has probably crossed the line.